bienvenue.
Je m'appelle Aya, j'ai 17 ans et je suis en terminale, donc that's senior year. So I stayed in Normandy, which is very north of France, and it's a very traditional place, and it's filled with architecture and agriculture and a lot of plants, flowers, yeah, nature. So that's where it is at the very top. You see those pictures, that's Normandy. So with Rotary Youth Exchange, Rotary is an international organization, and we even have it at Battle. We have Rotary Interacts Club, which is Wake Up, so I encourage you guys to be part of it. But they don't only do stuff like that. They also they help with humanitarian aid. And they do Rotary Youth Exchange, and their goal is to spread peace around the world and for us to be positive ambassadors for the United States. So I received the honor to do that, and my host club abroad was Ponto de Mer, and it was in a very, very small town. I think the population was about 5,000 or something. It was really small. And that's why we have a lot of villages, because it's a small town. There's only one school there, 2 high schools, and 1 private high school. So we live in villages, and then the bus would bring us to the schools. And the thing is, nobody can drive, because the driving age is 18, and they won't be 18 until they graduate high school. So our club met once or twice a month. I got a monthly allowance. We had a lot of dinners. It was really nice. They made me feel at home. Originally when I heard how much they were giving me, I started freaking out a little bit because I thought that wasn't enough. But it really is enough, because it turns out you don't need as many things as you think you would need. I got, so 60 euros, but 40 euros, I got 60 euros, but they had to pay 10 euros for unlimited data. It's really cheap, because here I have to pay like 60 bucks for unlimited. And therefore I only got 50 euros a month, and over time that was enough for me to buy clothes, buy anything I wanted to buy, and I still have money left over. So it really depends on the location. Like Grant, I don't know if you guys know Grant Bradshaw, he went to Switzerland, and Switzerland is super expensive, so they gave him like 120 euros. And it makes sense why, because it depends on where you are. So that is my YEO, the one with the board with the American flag on it. His name was Frederic. Yeah, he was really nice. We didn't see each other much because he lived in a different city, but he was always there for me when I needed him. And next to me is Marcela. She's from Brazil, but she's fluent in English. And the minute we met, we knew we were going to be best friends. And to this day, we're still friends. When you go abroad, you make these connections that you don't think will last forever, but they do. That's Ponto de Mer. That's the city. You can tell it's pretty crowded because it's really small. I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can see the small cars. This was my club president's car, so she was all big and stuff. But everyone in France usually has a smaller car. They don't really use vehicles that much. They use public transportation, which is something I really miss. Actually, I really fell in love with public transportation. That's my club president. We exchanged flags. That is our club meeting with all the families. So that's when they introduce themselves to everyone. And that's my counselor and her family. So my counselor played a bigger role than I thought she would have. She saved my exchange. She took me to Germany. I had the best time with her. She was always there for me. She was the one that I met with her every month so she could give me my money and so we could talk about any challenges that we had. And I loved her family. We bonded. So if you decide to go abroad, I encourage you to talk to your counselor more. It makes a big difference. There were 32 students in my district, 1640. I miss them so much. It's crazy, because 1 minute they're there and it's all over. And it's kind of surreal because you think you're going to see them the next day and then you don't. Yeah. That was us presenting each other to everybody else in French, so it was really funny because nobody knew what they were saying, they were just talking. These were important dates of different events that we can do, because with Rotary Youth Exchange, you don't just, of course they expect you to go to school, be like a normal French person, adapt to the culture, adapt to everything else, but they also want there to be a special element. So with the exchange students, every month you would do something cool with everyone, and you would go visit famous architecture and museums and cities, and they want you to get the full experience and really travel rather than just staying in one place. I had 3 families, because when you go on exchange, every family is really different. So they want you to get, if you guys need me to slow down, let me know. So they want you to get the full experience and really understand the culture. So the reason why they give you 3 families is so that you can get a little bit of, because they all have the same culture almost, but they all perform it differently. So with my first family, we didn't click very well because they didn't really want to host, but they had to because their daughter studied in Brazil the year before, no, 3 years before, and they have to host for the next 3 years. So they weren't really into it, and I think that's a conflicted, and it's a good thing we don't have that. But Punta de Man was so small that they don't have a choice. So it didn't work out, but I grew from it a lot, and I learned so much, and I don't regret having a bad experience because I really needed that. So don't let that deter you from wanting to study abroad, because I think it's a really important element, and there's a solution to everything. So like with that, you could talk, I didn't know this, but you could talk to someone and they'd let you change early. It's really flexible. Yeah, so that was my first family, and if you look at the house in the back, those are like cookie cutter homes in France. That's not a traditional home. Yeah. This is their dog, Happy, but they pronounced it Appy because they can't say that H. That was hilarious. My second host family, they were wild and crazy and hilarious, and they treated me like a daughter. And I miss them so much. They stayed with me every step of the way, and I'm so grateful to have them in my life. That is Simon, so Simon, and he studied in Brazil the year before, so he really helped me. And we became really good friends. Now he's in the military. This is really cool. That's my other brother. We weren't super close, but he was like 23. It was cool. If you look in the back, I took a picture of the backyard, but I forgot to take a picture of the house. I think I can zoom in. That's a traditional Norman home. So it's like, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like hay at the top. It's not hay, it's something else. It's a type of plant. And then they use a lot of wooden, and they do that on purpose. The way they build the homes, it's like that on purpose, not because of the light. I used to think it was because it was a very old town, but although it is, they like that. They keep building those homes on purpose. That was for my host dad. He never really understood it, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I took a picture of it. They like take pieces of the wall and move it somewhere else and displace it to make sure that they can make new land and build new stuff on the land. That was my birthday. I turned 17. My second and third host family, I love them. That's my host dad. He's pretty crazy. But he's in construction, so he made the home that you see here, he made everything. That's my host brother, Thibault, or Tibbet in English, and he taught me how to play guitar. Still bad at it. And this was, I should have looked it up. Have you guys seen this image online? No? Well, it's really cool. It's like this huge rock structure. This was the garden, the most beautiful garden I've ever seen. So they love their nature. Oh, that was the house that my host dad built, which I think is pretty crazy. The most beautiful home I've ever seen. So, school. Education in Europe overall is really different. But France, it was something like it was not what I expected. Because you go into school, it's different wherever you are. But for the most part, you wake up, you get on the bus, 30-minute ride to school because you live outside, you live in a village. That's how you typically live in France. And you take the bus because you can't drive. And so when you get to the school starts at 8. And then depending on your schedule, every day it changes because it's not like our system. It's not as organized. So sometimes you'll finish early, sometimes you'll finish late, sometimes you'll finish at 4, 2, or 6. The latest is usually 6. So I got out at 6 every day, unless the teacher didn't show up because of a strike. And they have a lot of those, but they're not violent. Not where I was. In Paris, they're pretty violent. Do you guys know what a strike is? Yeah. They love speaking out, and I praise them for that.
Just a side note, we accuse the French as the people who are the least productive because they fight for their rights. They don't want to work overtime, extra nothing. So they strike often to fight for their rights to be able to work. Which is great. They have great focus.
Yeah. Like last year, they were striking because the government wanted to raise taxes and raise money, increase the gas price, and they did not like that. They said we already have too much to pay for. But I mean, they have free insurance, free education, but they don't realize that other places don't have that. That was a school. It's kind of like college. That was the other high school because the other one was too crowded, so I'd have to go to the school for every Monday and Friday. These are my friends. I don't really know what to say about them. French people are super loyal. They're very sincere, and the reason why it's hard to get into a friend group is because it takes a while for them to create relationships. But once you're in that relationship, it's really honest. They won't just drop you. It was easy for me to make friends because I was that American girl in the beginning. But then they helped me the rest of the year, and I made some really good friends, and they never once let me down. Halloween. This is at the end when they sign my flag. This is my class, and in France you get one class. That's just how the system works. You don't switch classes. You stay in one room for the most part. Most French schools you only stay in one room, but the high school I was at, you stayed with the same class, so the same people. Also, if you want to say I have this class next, you have to say course, so course, because if you say classe, that means your people, the class people, and that really I confused so many people. So yeah, I changed rooms a few times, but I stayed with them all year, and that really helped me create relationships and get through the year. Science, there's a lot of science and math. Literature, there's a lot of writings and French, which is English for us. And then for economical sciences, it's science, math, and literature, so it's kind of all mixed, kind of general. And that was where I was in. This is France, a very, very beautiful but expensive city in Normandy, and that was where we all hung out at the beach. It was our first time hanging out, and really emotional. Yeah, it rained a lot in Normandy. It rains almost every day. But that's just the norm. You won't get the full Normandy experience if it didn't rain every day. And they had amazing summers and springs. They were really warm. They were really pretty, and that's why they have all these beautiful flowers because it rains all the time. Winter, it's just as cold as it is here, but it doesn't snow. Mont Saint-Michel. So it's on water. Sometimes the water will, what's the word I'm looking for?
Separate?
No, go back. Walk on the sand, and it's almost like quicksand.
An island sometimes.
Yeah.
It looks like.
It's really cool, and it rained a lot that day, but so people would go all the way in. It would go to your waist, and that's why we had to wear shorts or dresses. Or there was some really good food. We had Brazilian food, Colombian food, Mexican food, Spanish food, Japanese food. I can't pick a favorite because I honestly liked everything. But then there were some that overlapped because we're not as different as we think we are. Some, like Venezuela, he made mashed potatoes, and I made, not mashed potatoes, potato salad, and I made potato salad. So, should I talk about the DELF exam?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So the DELF exam is an exam that you can take in France if you wanted to study in a university there. So you would spend about a year there, and when you feel comfortable, you can take the exam. And if you pass the level that you want to take the test for, you can study. So you need a B1 minimum to study in a university there, or was it A2? I'm not sure. But I took the B1, I passed. So if I wanted to study in France, I can. And you can do it. Like, there were some that didn't even know anything in French, and they passed the exam. So, like, don't worry about that. If you were to study in France and you were scared about taking the test, just sign up for it because you will do better than you think. You don't want to regret not taking it. The test for the language level. It's like the TOEFL exam, or when foreigners come here to take the exam. Asian Americans. They're really crazy and wild, and we had a party to celebrate their Uwase would have in Brazil because they were feeling really homesick.
And it's us in South America, guys, not like the South of the U.S.
Yeah, no.
I hope that makes sense.
Different continent. And that's another thing, they hated when we called ourselves Americans because they said, oh, well, we're Americans too. But like, what are we supposed to call ourselves? United Staters?